हरे कृष्ण। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे। श्री कृष्ण दया करो मोरे। तोमा बिना के दयालु जागत संसारे। पतित पावना हेतु तव अवतार। पतित पावना हेतु तव अवतार। मोक्षम पतिता प्रभु न पाइबे आर। मोक्षम पतिता प्रभु आहा प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी। आहा प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी। कृपा बलो कान करो आमी बड़ दुखी। दया करो सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई। दया करो सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई। तव कृपा बोले पाए चैतन्य निताय। कृपा बोले पाए चैतन्य निताय। आहा स्वरूप सनातन रूप रघुनाथ। आहा सनातन रूप रघुनाथ। Bhatya Juga Shriva Prabhu Lokanatha Juga Shriva Lokanatha Doya Kuru Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narotamadas Sangamage Narotamadas Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagat Samsari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Jayo Panchatattva Panchatattva Jayo Panchatattva Jayo Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadramayi Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Panchatattva ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudeva ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So, before I start speaking, I would like to gain the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, so that I am not qualified to speak anything about this wonderful and glorious literature. Just for my own purification, I am trying to glorify the Lord, and I seek all of your blessings and prayers. Vanchakalpatarvasya kripasindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So I think we're reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 22nd chapter, from the 91st verse till the 95th verse. The 95th verse is on the... Okay, I'll just read one after the other. 91 to 95. Varam huta vaha jwala panjarantar vyavasthitihi na shauri chinta vimukha jana samvasa vaishasam. Translation. It is better to accept the miseries of being encaged within bars and surrounded by burning flames than to associate with those bereft of Krishna consciousness. Such association is a very great hardship. Next verse. Ma drakshihi kshina punyan kvachid api bhagavad bhakti hinan manushyan. Translation. One should not even see those who are bereft of devotional service in Krishna consciousness and who are therefore devoid of pious activities. Text number 93. Eta sabha chadiyara varna shrama dharma akinchana hana laya krishnaika sharana. Eta sabha chadi ara varna shrama dharma akinchana hanalaya krishnaika sharana. Without hesitation, one should take exclusive shelter of Lord Krishna with full confidence, giving up bad association and even neglecting the regulative principles of the 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. That is to say, one should abandon all material attachment. Text number 94. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Translation. After giving up all kinds of religious and occupational duties, if you come to me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and take shelter, I shall give you protection from all of life's sinful reactions. Do not worry. Last verse, 95th. Bhaktavatsala Kritagna Samartha Vadanya Hena Krishna Chadi Pandita Nahi Bhaje Anya. Translation. Lord Krishna is very kind to his devotees. He is always very grateful and magnanimous, and he possesses all abilities. A learned man does not give up Krishna to worship anyone else. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilita Jnana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswata Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. So in this 26th chapter, 22nd chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing the process of devotional service. In in the beginning he described the truth about the living entity and also the importance of devotional service. And then he also described the uselessness of speculation, mental speculation, and also mystic yoga. So, in all circumstances, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is advocating that we accept the path of devotional service, which is personally explained by him. And an intelligent person should abandon all types of karma kanda, jnana kanda, and mystic yoga. And one should seriously take upon the process of Krishna consciousness. In this way, one's life will be successful. So we see this. Yes, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt, but because of your laptop, we cannot see or the side. Can
Okay.
you turn it to the side?
I can keep it down.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
No problem, Mataji.
Thank you.
It's okay. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, yes. So, in this way, if we take up to the Krishna conscious process, as indicated and guaranteed by Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our life will be successful. And even though we may have practiced many different things in our previous birth or previous to taking up the Krishna conscious process, and we may be agitated due to all of this, even then if we continue to practice this Krishna consciousness without any kind of hesitation or break, Mahaprabhu himself is guaranteeing that we will be saved by Lord Krishna himself. So, he's also mentioning in the previous verses that devotional service being bestowed upon us itself is the most merciful, and it is the blessings of a pure devotee of the Lord, right? Sa Mahatma Su Durlabha. So because of the mercy of the spiritual master, of the pure devotees, we are today in a position to practice this most valuable Krishna consciousness process. So, also, now that we come to these few verses, in this the Lord is differentiating between a pure devotee and also a non-devotee or not a serious devotee. And one has to, understand these verses, at least I'm trying to, that one thing which is very clear is by the association of the pure devotees and the association of the Vaishnavas, it is very easy and we are protected in the path of devotional service. Or else if we try to do anything on our own or our mental speculation, we are going to be facing many different kinds of hurdles. So then when you talk about the 94th verse, where the Lord is saying, Sarva dharman paritijya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Right. So, if we see the purport of the Bhagavad Gita, this is a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, and we see the purport. The Lord is saying to Arjuna that he should give up all types of religion and all different kinds of processes and just completely surrender unto him, so that he will save him from all types of sinful reactions, and the Lord personally promises to protect him. Right? So, in the 7th chapter, it is said that, only one who becomes free from all sinful reactions can take to the worship of the Lord. So, unless one thinks that he is fully free from all the sinful reactions, he cannot, enter into the surrendering process. But, the doubt is there that even if one is not free from sinful reactions, can he take up to the process of devotional service of Krishna? But due to Mahaprabhu's apara karuna, the Lord Krishna, when he gave the Bhagavad Gita, he first put a condition. You first surrender unto me, and then I will remove all of your sins and stuff. But Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanyaya. He is the most munificent avatar. So he is saying that just chant Hare Krishna, just follow my instructions, and automatically you'll be freed from all of these sinful reactions, and then you can go back home, back to Godhead. Right. So, one example which comes to my mind when we hear about the surrendering process is this one beautiful pastime of Lord Ramachandra. So one day, during the Vanavas period, Lord Ramachandra, Sita and Lakshmana are going in the forests, and since they are in exile, they are wearing these simple clothes, they have no footwear, and they're just wandering in the forest from place to place and taking association of all the sages. And along the way, there are so many thorns there, and stones and sharp thorns along the pathway, right? And while Lord Ramachandra is walking, all of these thorns, they just poke. The Lord's body is just so soft, and it's just so transcendental. And these thorns, they poke the Lord in his feet. And as and when he's going each step, there's a thorn which is poking him. And then Sita Thakurani, she's seeing this and she's unable to bear that these thorns are poking her beloved Lord. So at one point in time, when they take rest, Sita Thakurani, she goes and she just tries to start removing the thorns from Lord Ramachandra's lotus feet. And Lord Ramachandra gets upset. What are you doing? You can't remove these thorns. They have taken shelter of my lotus feet. Now that they have taken shelter of my lotus feet, I cannot abandon them. I mean, we may be causing so much grievous harm to the Lord. It is poking the Lord's lotus feet. But even then, if we've taken shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, Lord Ramachandra is refusing to give up on us. That is the mercy, that is the compassion, and that is the forgivefulness nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, even if a thorn, unknowingly it's poking the Lord and it's gaining shelter of the Lord, what would be the situation if we on our own free will, we take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet and actually try and follow? Personally speaking, I'm committing so many offenses and not following strictly. But even if a person like me has a chance, then so many more people have a better chance, is what I think my understanding should be. Right. And in the next verse, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, one should be free from all kinds of material attachment and should take full shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna is very kind to his devotees. He is always grateful and he never forgets the service of a devotee. How heartening is that? I mean, he never forgets a single simple service which we rendered. And maybe we just offered a small flower, and the Lord never forgets. For me, now as I'm reading this, I'm getting even more examples. I had prepared one example, but one example which comes to my mind was during the Damodar Arati month, Damodar month. There is one beautiful pastime there. That there's a nice temple, and the pujari had lit a lamp outside the temple, and there's nobody around. Everybody's gone, and then there's this rat. This mouse which comes in search of food. It's hungry, right? And it's searching for food, and it sees there's a lamp lit and there's ghee. And this ghee is butter, so it's hungry and it wants to go eat this wonderful ghee offered to the Lord. And then, so while it's trying to eat the ghee from the wick, its tail catches on fire, right? Tail catches on fire, and then it's in pain and starts jumping around, going here and there. It's in pain, and then unfortunately it burns and it dies. But in the eyes of the Lord, he is seeing that, oh, this mouse, he is offering arati to me. And in this auspicious month of Damodar, it's so unknowingly the mouse has done it. It does not have any kind of knowledge what has happened, but the Lord is saying, oh, it's offered such a wonderful service for me on this most auspicious month of Damodar. Immediately goes back home, back to Godhead. So he never forgets the service of a devotee. And it's just so nice thinking about that. Even though you commit so many offenses, still the Lord will not forget me. It's something nice. But one thing which I feel I should understand is that just because the Lord is so nice and grateful to my service does not mean that I go on committing offenses and go on doing something inappropriate. Another example which I feel is really super cool is that this one I heard few years back, around 2019. I heard about this pastime. So during the 1930s, there was one disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, and he had gotten initiated around that time. And I think Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he disappeared around 1937, right? So 1930s, 1933, this person got initiated from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and after 4 years, Prabhupada, he left his body. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada left this world. So what happened is that this devotee, after Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada left, due to some bad association, he got into some unwanted habits, anti-devotional services, and his devotional services started to deteriorate. He started consuming meat and so many different things. And over a period of time, because due to all of these sinful activities, he fell sick and he died, right? So what had happened, all of these family members, they had just taken this person, this ex-devotee, and since he died, they built a funeral pyre. They got all the woods ready for burning. They're just about to burn him, and suddenly the dead body wakes up and says, Prabhupada! 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 Everybody's shocked. A dead body has come back to life. And everybody's stunned. They don't know what. It's just about to burn. There's no life in the body. It's just about to burn him, and suddenly he wakes up shouting Prabhupada's name. So then afterwards, he just immediately gets up and he runs. So everybody's in shock. So then they go and ask him, right? He immediately went to his family members and he told them what had happened. So he's saying that after I had died, these huge demoniac-looking two entities had come, two Yamadutas. So they came, they dragged me to hell. They dragged me to Naraka, Yamapuri, and there, on the way, I was feeling so thirsty. I just wanted to get a glass of water or something. I'm feeling so thirsty, and I asked these Yamadutas, can I get a glass of water? So they said, yes, why not? You can get something to drink. And then they pointed me to an wonderful pool of blood, pus, vomit and stool. So you can go have your drink. So I was so disgusted. Oh no, what is this? You only get this in Yamapuri. So then I was like, okay, no need. So then they continued dragging me, and then they took me to Chitragupta. So there's a huge line in front of me. Chitragupta is sentencing everybody. Oh, hell, 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 hell. Nobody is going anywhere else. He's just sentencing everybody to hell. So I am thinking, oh, I don't know what to do. So then when it comes to my chance, he looks at me and he says, okay. And he takes me to Yamaraj. So I was like the exception. They took me to Yamaraj. So once I was in front of Yamaraj, he's narrating that Yamaraj looks at me and asks very gravely, is there anything auspicious you have done in your life? So I just reply, I took initiation from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada. And then Yamaraj closes his eyes, and after a second, unbelievably, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur appears in front of me and he starts chastising me left, right and center. He says, why have you given up your devotions? He says, why have you given up Harinam? You should not have done all this. And then I fall at his feet and I beg for forgiveness. Please give me another chance. I will change. I'm not going to do all of this anymore. And then Yamaraj says, oh, okay, you have your second chance. Go back. And that's how he wakes up from the funeral pyre. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also instructs him that you go to my another sannyasi disciple, you take initiation from him, and then you continue your devotion service. So then he goes, he gets reinitiated by this sannyasi disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he continues to practice for another 8 years very seriously, and then finally after 8 years he leaves his body in a much more nice and devotee manner. Doesn't that instill so much faith in our heart that even though we do so many things, the Lord still will not leave us? Lord, some insignificant service we'd offer. I mean, he had done so wonderful service, but speaking for myself, but even if some insignificant service he offer, the Lord is not ready to leave. He's saying so much love. The Lord loves us so much, but we're not ready to give that love back. So that was one nice example. That is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time. There's also one more pastime which I heard recently about Srila Prabhupada's time. That there was one disciple of Srila Prabhupada. After Srila Prabhupada left, due to some reason, so whatsoever, he also could not follow and got into some association, whatever. And during the time, he got into so many diseases, and he was on his deathbed alone, no devotees. He's just not able to speak anything at one point in time. And then there's this nurse is just accompanying him, this non-devotee nurse, just accompanying for his last few breaths. And suddenly he just looks up to the door and says loudly, Prabhupada, you came. Yeah, right? I don't know how many of you heard of this pastime. Lord does not forget us. Even a little bit of service, He will not forget us. Confirmed. So, Jai. Yeah. So, another example from Krishna book I thought was very appropriate here. Was the pastime of Sudama Vipra. Most of you might know, but I like to narrate the pastime too. So, Sudama was a very great friend of Lord Krishna. Both of them studied together in the Gurukul. And Sudama always used to be like the shadow of Lord Krishna. Wherever Krishna used to go, he used to follow him. He used to always have fun with him, play with him, study with him, learn with him. So he was a wonderful devotee of Lord Krishna. So once they finished the studies, they went in their own separate ways. So Sudama was a wonderful Brahmana. So he got married. He had his children. But he was just completely absorbed in devotional service to the Lord, and invariably he was also leading a life of poverty. So he had nothing for his maintenance. He was leading a very, very simple life. Hardly any clothes on his back, no money for prasadam, by cooking prasadam offering. So he used to go door to door begging for some food. And some days he gets, some days he doesn't get. So they're leading a very life of poverty and full of difficulties. And seeing this, her wife is very compassionate. Seeing her children suffer, she's not able to tolerate her. The mother is just so compassionate to her children, that she's saying, my Lord, she just approaches Sudama and very humbly she just prays to him. She says, my Lord, you're so wonderful. You are such a nice devotee of Lord Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He never abandons his devotees. He is the Lord of all. And if you offer a little bit also, the Lord returns 1,000-fold. And you are such a nice devotee of the Lord. Why don't you please go and approach the Lord and ask him if he can help us in our difficult situation? So Sudama, he hears this. He doesn't like the idea of taking anything from the Lord, but because his wife is so humbly and nicely, she's praying to him, she says, okay, I will go see the Lord. But when you go see somebody, you cannot go empty-handed. The culture is that you have to take something as a gift to that person. But in Sudama's case, he does not have anything at home. He's nothing. So then his wife, she goes and she begs to the neighbors, saying, please give me something which you have. And the neighbors, they give a few handfuls of chipped rice. Chipped rice? Chipped rice. 2 handfuls of chipped rice. So she nicely packs it up in a nice bundle, gives it to Sudama, and he makes his way to Krishna. So the significance of this is that they don't have anything, but they went out of their way, because they had so much love for Krishna, they went out of their way begging from somebody else. So much humility you should have to beg from somebody else just for sustenance of life. You're just begging from somebody else, and not for themselves, it's for a gift for Krishna. So the begging, please give me something so that I can take it for Krishna. So, and then Sudama took these 2 handfuls of chipped rice, and he goes to Dwarka. Dwarka is a beautiful place, wonderful buildings, there's so many parks, there's all that citizens are like denizens of heaven, so beautiful men, beautiful women, and they're all singing the glories of the Lord, chanting going on here and there. It's like Vaikuntha. Everybody's absorbed in glorifying Krishna. And he goes and approaches the gatekeepers and says, I am a humble Brahmana, my name is Sudama. I was the friend of Krishna, and if he is willing, please ask him if he will meet me. So immediately the gatekeepers, they go and inform Krishna, oh, there's a Brahmana at the gate. He's saying his name is Sudama. Sudama! My dear friend, Krishna says, and immediately he runs. He is with Rukmini, and he's there with her. But he immediately drops everything and he just runs to the gate to see Sudama. And as soon as he sees Sudama, he hugs Sudama and said, "Oh, Sudama, how have you been? So nice pleasantries." He just hugs him with so much love. "I missed you, my dear friend. How have you been? How is your family? Come, let me go introduce you to my family." So then he takes Sudama, takes him to his palace where Rukmini, the goddess of fortune, is there. And then he makes Sudama sits on a bed, and Sudama is feeling so embarrassed. He's like, "Oh my God, the Lord himself, and this is the place where the goddess of fortune is there. He's still making me sit on this bed." And then Rukmini starts fanning him with a nice chamara, and then the Lord massages his feet. He washes Sudama's feet. Then he takes Charnamrit. He drinks Charnamrit, offer it to his family members, and Sudama is feeling so, he's feeling so embarrassed and shy that I don't deserve all of this. This is the Supreme Personality of God, and still so much love he's showing. He's actually showing by example about how one should treat a Brahmana. Because the Lord, he was living the life of a Kshatriya, and the Kshatriya's duty is to respect and treat the Brahmanas with respect and honor them. So he was showing by example about how one should respect to Brahmana. Sudama also understood this, but still he was feeling so embarrassed. Right? So after all of this, Krishna then he asks Sudama about his welfare of his family members. Then finally he says, "What have you bought for me?" So then Sudama is so embarrassed. He's seeing such a opulence, and then what is 2 handful of chip rice? So he's squirming around. He's like, "Oh no, I don't want." Then Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He knows everything. So he spots the bag and he immediately snatches it. "Oh, what is this bag? Show me." He snatches the bag and he says, "Oh, chipped rice, my favorite." So then immediately he grabs a morsel and pops it in his mouth. So Krishna says, "If I am satisfied, then the whole universe is satisfied." And then he goes in to take another morsel, but Rukmini immediately stops it. "Oh, now enough." One morsel you're satisfied, the whole creation is satisfied, and I don't think you'll be able to repay him if you have another morsel. So Prabhupada is saying in the purport that if the Lord is satisfied, then the whole universe is automatically satisfied, and the goddess of fortune resides in the house of that person, right? Yeah. So then Sudama is in ecstasy. He's not able, he's choking in tears and he's in ecstasy. He's not able to say anything. He's just seeing this interaction between Rukmini and Krishna with so much of love. And then he doesn't ask anything for Krishna. He's happy he met Krishna. And then once again they embrace, and Sudama starts walking back home. He's going back home and he's seeing the roads are different, the sidewalks are different, the buildings are different. There are people here who, the effulgent, look like demigods, they're like the denizens of heaven. And then suddenly he sees one beautiful woman approaching him. Such beautiful jewels, such wonderful clothes. And that lady comes and says, "My master, I welcome you." And he's stunned. Who is this? And he realizes that it's his wife. And then he's absolutely stunned. He's not able to comprehend. He said, "I came back in one state, but I went in one state and I came back, everything has changed." So then there are so many people are singing, welcoming him with wonderful Vedic hymns, chanting, dancing, and goes into the place, and then he says, "The floor is bedecked with jewels, the walls are bedecked with jewels, the pillars are made out of valuable jewels. He has a huge palace." And then he finally thinks, so this is all the mercy of Krishna. He did not desire anything, but Krishna knew his situation. He was so grateful for his friendship, for his love, unflinching love, that even though he did not ask for all this, automatically the Lord provided all this. But even then, Sudama still, he did not become puffed up because of all this material wealth. He still continued his wonderful devotional service to Lord Krishna, and always, he was obliged to Krishna. He's saying, "I pray to have the friendship of Lord Krishna and to engage in his service and to surrender fully unto him in love and affection life after life. I do not want any opulence. I only desire not to forget his service. I simply wish to be associated with his pure devotees. May my mind and activities be always engaged in his service. The unborn Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, knows that many great personalities have fallen from their position because of extravagant opulence. Therefore, even when his devotee asks for some opulence from him, the Lord sometimes does not give it. He is very cautious about his devotees, because a devotee in an immature position of devotional service may, if offered great opulence, fall from his position due to being in the material world. the Lord does not offer opulence unto him. So just imagine how great a devotee must Lord Sudama be, may Sudama be, if the Lord decided to bestow opulence upon him, because he had full confidence that he will not change even after getting so much opulence, because he is only interested in my worship and he is only interested in loving me and my friendship. So the Lord had so much confidence in Sudama, said, okay. But then the Lord is cautious about his devotees when a devotee asks for opulence, because if a devotee is immature and he gets the opulence, he may fall down. So this is the wonderful instruction Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing Sanatana Goswami. This is a part of that this thing. I think my small realization is that the Lord is so merciful. Even though we are doing very little devotional service, the Lord very nicely reciprocates along with us. Simple example is that when I was studying, I was immature. So that time my greatest hurdle is that I have exams and I should get good marks. And I am worried that I don't remember anything when I study. So I'll go to the Lord and say, my Lord, please help me remember everything. Sarva Sichaha Mudhi Sannivishto Mata Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. You're there in my heart. From you comes remembrance, from you comes forgetfulness. Please let me remember everything when I go for my exams and stuff like that. The Lord, He does not need to fulfill all of this, but then He is so kind and merciful that by His grace, I was able to remember everything and write my exam. It's a very mundane example, but when I was at that one, I was just saying, oh, the Lord is reciprocating with me. For some small devotion service I offer, the Lord is reciprocating with me, and this big hurdle of this exam, which actually is not a big deal, but for me at that point in time it was a big deal. So I was saying, oh, He is reciprocating so much with me. Like this, devotees have so many wonderful interactions, and I think I have a long way to go, a lot of purification needed, and I would like to take this opportunity that I like to take the blessings of all of you wonderful Vaishnavas, that I can also render some devotional service to the Lord, so that the Lord does not forget me and the Vaishnavas don't forget me. And when it comes to the time of my passing away, it will be done in the association of all the Vaishnavas, and I'll always remember Krishna while going away. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments or feedback? Questions I will redirect to somebody else. Yes, Mataji.
I just had a small question while you were sharing this last part about. So while you were sharing this last story of Sudama, and I was thinking of the fact that when Sudama went, when he was returning, he had no expectations actually that he will come and see whatever he saw. So, and of course, Sudama's story is also, as devotees, we always get the assurance, Avashya Rakhive Krishna Vishwasha Palan. He will always protect, He will always provide. So that assurance is also there. And I'm just thinking, as somebody who's trying to practice and develop some situation and sincerity in Krishna consciousness, we know about the assurance, and then how do we not expect? It's a very fine line actually. So how can we be assured but not expect? Thank you.
I have senior devotees and uncles are here, so I request them.
Once I was in Mayapur, and one sannyasi was giving class, and then Prabhupada disciple gave a question, and then he saw that in the audience was senior devotee, another sannyasi, and he say, there's a senior devotee here, maybe he can answer. And he say, no, will not answer. Because you are sitting on the Vyasasan, and you are empowered to answer the question. So He answered the question.
I request you. Got a hat. I think it's really tough not having expectations. I think I have not reached that stage in which I can say in confidence that I offer service and then I don't expect any reciprocation. I think my mind is programmed in such a way that I have a business relationship with the Lord. If I offer something, I expect something back in return. So Prabhupada is saying many things that how to do, but I don't think I'm in such a position yet to say that with confidence that when I offer something, I do it without expectation. I think over a period of time, maybe by strictly following this process, you can overcome this. But please don't add, because I don't think I'm qualified to answer this part.
The Father will.
I think the Lord loves his devotee, and there is a loving exchange between the Lord and the devotees. Sometimes as we grow in this process of bhakti, devotional service, everything is very nectarian from the Lord's point of view. For devotees, there is nowhere else to go except for the Lord. So instead of going and asking somebody else, the Lord is always pleased that the Lord is dependent on, the devotees are dependent on me. And as all of us know, this is the path of perfection. That not that we get renunciation overnight. The Lord also understands that, of course, we start with expectations, and over a period of time, we will also understand that everything what we offer and everything what we do is for the pleasure of the Lord. So till such time, the Lord is very patient with us. And He is having this loving exchange between the Lord Himself and the devotees. So instead of thinking that or feeling bad about it, rather we should, because we as devotees, as practicing devotees, we have nowhere else to go. So it's okay that we understand or recognize this fact that I have some attachment, or I am attached to the results, or I need something. So it's okay that if it's like a small child asking the father, where else the child will go till the time the child grows up. So it's important that we have this relationship with the Lord, that I have nowhere else to go, but till the time I'm purified, just be tolerant with me. Of course, the devotees always comes with a nice attitude of praise, because the devotees don't just say that, I require this, you give it to me. But we always, Prabhupada started as a process that whenever you need something, please put a disclaimer saying that if you so wishes, you fulfill. So then it's become a pure devotional service, because we are not expecting anything from the Lord, but we just leave it to the Lord's mercy to act the way He wants us to take that. So then the expectation is automatically set. From the beginning, if we just program and start thinking that yes, I have an expectation, but say that if the Lord desires so, let it happen. So that we are not attached. At the same time, Lord also understand. Yes, this guy is trying, struggling. If the Lord wants to fulfill, He may fulfill. Otherwise, we don't get disheartened, but still we would continue our devotional service. Krishna gives us an opportunity anyway to go through this whole process, by which that either we get what you need, or you learn to become more tolerant. Okay, Krishna is not giving me now, let me be more tolerant. So both ways, there are several lessons and importance of achieving perfection happens, because in the 9th chapter, Attaining Krishna, Krishna is saying that so many things that if you have to go through that, you should get all these 26 qualities, and then you will not be perfect, right? So when do we get 26 qualities of Vaishnava? Of course, it's a big challenge. Of course, without the mercy of the Lord, we're not going to get it. But Prabhupada assures that, yes, by following the process, one can imbibe all these qualities by the mercy of the Lord. So we're not going to aspire, okay, I want to be tolerant, I want to be this, I want to be that. But then just Mahaprabhu's teachings are also like that Trinadapi Sunichena. Just by being humble devotee of the Lord, many qualities automatically follows that humility. So you're qualified by being humble to get other qualities. So if you're not probably rendering devotional service in a humble platform, obviously the rest of the qualities will also be just a little more far away from devotees of the Lord. So this way that we are not special entities. We are all, at the end of the day, the special mercy candidate of the Lord in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the only qualification we have is the most fallen people. So most fallen people cannot be obviously so great, at least I can speak for myself, be a qualified devotees of the Lord that they don't have any desire. Because the only qualification we have, why we have come to Krishna consciousness and practicing is because we are the most fallen. That's what Mahaprabhu is saying. Mosama patita pavan. So then we are in that state, Lord can clearly understand, this guy is struggling, he requires mercy continuously. He doesn't take offense, okay. Why is he asking that? He's more compassionate, because that's why we say Mahaprabhu is the most munificent incarnation of the Lord. So our primary relationship with the Mahaprabhu, so he actually gives all that mercy what we need, because he understands the most fallen people requires more attention. So he just gradually picks us up and just wanting to give the mercy. Whatever be the state currently we are, Lord actually wanted to realize that we are the most fallen, so that we don't get puffed up and we see that, okay, I'm practicing Krishna consciousness, I'm a great devotee, I have a relationship with the Lord. But rather, he wants us to realize that, I'm the most useless person, I require the mercy of the Lord continuously and all the time. That's what I would think. You want to add something? Anybody?
You said everything.
Krishna.
Два слова. Я думаю, что все зависит от молитвы.
I think that everything depends on the prayer. On the prayer and on the mercy. How we pray, so we live. And Sudama, it's just a lila. I think he prayed very nice. Hare Krishna.
Comment. Okay.
I was just thinking of a practical example. We are living in a practical example. Because when the devotee, they got this place in the early 80s, and they got thanks to the Sankirtan book distribution activity. So the Sankirtan devotee, they were going around mostly on dhoti on this time, and actually was more begging, like Sudama Vipra. Begging because people, they were not so much interested on the books, but mainly devotee, they were introducing what we were doing and asked donation to support our activities. So at that time, all devotees were brahmachari. So you take the collection, you bring to the temple, give to the temple president, renew the place and build up such a wonderful place. And actually, I remember one time the temple president was sitting there in the class, and he said that actually you don't realize that here you are living in a 5-star hotel, because so many rooms and nice place you got, and so nice prasadam every day. So definitely the devotee, they got so much opulence. And Zurich temple was well known around the world as an opulent place. So it's proof. It proved that we are sitting in an example that by try to satisfy the Lord, although there was a lot of motivation in book distribution, because the motivation was the results. A lot of competition between the devotees. But Srila Prabhupada wanted this competition. He liked it very much. And he knew it. That okay, they will compete for material reason, name, fames and glories, but as Prabhu nicely said, we will become purified by this. Of course you have to give up in the course of time, otherwise it will not work anymore. The Lord give us this possibility. Okay, you go, collect for me, maybe with some motivation, but then you become purified by the transcendental activity. So I was just thinking that this is the example how it works.
Okay. Grantaraj Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudev ki, Jai Nitai, Gaur Sitanath Pramanande, Hari Hari. Vanchakalpatur Vishakapa Sindhubi Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavyo Namah.
Cidananda Nimai Prabhu ki, Jai.
Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you, Prabhu.